welcome everybody to the September 13th Father, Son, and Holy Sport NFL show. I'm G-Man, everybody. That's T-Money from Cincinnati, Bengal territory. What's up, T?
What's going on, G-Man? First week, weird week, just odd games, odd stat lines, craziness with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. It was just a wild week one, but I'm just happy football's back.
Hey, you Cincinnati people got to be down in the dumps this week, man. I hope you can come back this week.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird, but we always lose to the Browns. Joe Burrow's 1-5 versus the Browns, so I'm not too upset about it. The Browns won't make the playoffs, and we will, so I don't really care at the end of the day.
And yeah, that's right. That's right. And in fact, I predicted Cincinnati not to win the division, but still make the playoffs and get into that AFC championship game. So they started slow last year, and they started slow again. Hey, how about the Thursday night game coming up tomorrow? We're recording on Wednesday. The game's tomorrow, Minnesota at Philly to kick off the week, man. The Eagles, big favorites on Thursday Night Football. Hey, do us a favor, press that like and subscribe. We appreciate your support, y'all. And hey, thanks to our show sponsor, Blue Tees Golf. Go to blueteesgolf.com. Find affordable, high-quality golf products that can help you pick up your golf game. Enter coupon code FSHS. Get a 10% discount. There's also a referral link in our bio. Or go to blueteesgolf.com, everybody. Hey, let's go to the Ross Rundown. Going across the league, hitting some of the key topics, T-Money and I. Here we go, T. What do you think about those Bengals now? I want to expand upon that, see how concerned you are with the Bengals. You know, what do you see for the next game? How they feeling down there in Cincinnati?
Oh, man. I don't think it's time to panic or anything like that, but the offensive line definitely got its handful. I mean, Myles Garrett, I personally believe, is the best pass rusher in the NFL. Yes, better than Bosa, better than those TJ Watt and those guys. I think he's the best. So, unfortunately, he's in our division, and so is TJ Watt. So, seeing them 4 times a year puts the Bengals at a disadvantage. But it was a monsoon. Even Deshaun Watson only threw for 150 yards. Like, I'm not going to panic. The Bengals always start slow. Joe Burrow had his worst game as a pro, and that guy's proven. It's different when you watch someone like Justin Fields have another bad game, right? Well, Justin Fields, we'll talk about later. Maybe he's not got it. You know, it's different if you see Jimmy G have a bad game. Yeah, he's not in the Shanahan system anymore. Makes sense. But Joe Burrow's taking this team to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow's taking this team to the AFC Championship game. He's flipped this franchise around. They still have players everywhere. They just started slow, and they were in a monsoon versus a rival that seems to always have their number. So, no, it is not panic time. I am totally fine. Almost expected it in the back of my mind. Not a big deal for me and the Cincinnati fans down here.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you there, man. I thought the defense played well. They played well against Deshaun Watson. Only had 154 passing yards. Had an interception. Nick Chubb had 106. But overall, the defense looked good. The offense, does need some help there. And I trust Joe Burrow, too. I know that he's good. I just wonder if maybe he's injured more than we think, or is it just him coming back slow from that injury? Something's wrong with him. And hopefully he's back together this week.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably still got a little bit of that ankle injury, calf injury that he had, in the preseason there. And he sat out for a while, didn't practice, and probably was somewhat holding out until he got that contract late Thursday night. So congrats to him for getting paid, highest paid player in NFL history, rightly deserved. But he just didn't get a lot of reps with this team. So not only is he a little injured, wasn't a lot of reps. They were in a monsoon. I just think it was a bunch of bad stuff happening all at once. That I don't specifically see the Browns as this world beater, but Myles Garrett is a dog. That guy is impressive, and he's always going to give the Bengals trouble because we just can't seem to figure out our offensive line. So that's concerning a little bit long term, but Joe Burrow's played with the worst O-lines in the league for a while now, so I think he can overcome that.
Hey, looking ahead and behind, let's say, the Bengals lost their first 2 games last year. Burrow was telling everyone to relax. Everybody remembers that. Burrow trying to get everyone to chill. They lost the first 2. They finish 12-4 and win that AFC North for the second straight year. Next up, They've got the Ravens coming into town, and believe it or not, all you fans out there, the Bengals are favored by 3.5. I mean, this is crazy, this line here. The Ravens beat Houston 25-9. They lost J.K. Dobbins. Okay, that is a big hit. But the Ravens look pretty good. And they come into Cincinnati now and are 3.5 dogs, man. Come on, Joe. Bring that home, Joe.
Yeah, very impressive. Let's see what they got this weekend for sure. I want to move over to the Packers, though. All right. We're going to talk for a second. Aaron Rodgers obviously gets hurt. The Packers looked great. I want to see this perspective from the Packers side here now. What do you think? Do you think the Packers feel vindicated for moving on from Aaron Rodgers after their win and seeing his injury?
Absolutely, yes. And I thought this before he got injured. I was talking about this all winter, all the way up through this moment, man. Talking about Rodgers. He's always been out for Rodgers. He would not let the Packers move on. He held them kind of hostage. And I didn't see him developing Jordan Love like he's all of a sudden this big developer of talent with Zach Wilson. Where did that Zach Wilson? I don't know where that came from because Jordan Love didn't get that love. Yeah. Look at this guy behind me now doing it himself, man. This thing was way overhyped. Rodgers did not play well last year. He lost Devontae and things fell apart. And we had questions on this show about whether he was really going to do it with the Jets. And I will never know. Probably. No, I think the Packers move on. They looked great last week. Those guys can make the playoffs, and I didn't think they would, but they look great.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens, right? When you have a good run organization, as much as people gave the Packers slack for not drafting a wide receiver in the first round, they are a well-run organization. They have a really solid offensive line. They have a great running back duo, and Aaron Jones looked phenomenal. They have some young wide receivers that look like they're going to hit. Christian Watson didn't even play, and they played really well. The others played really well. And the defense has first-round pick and studs everywhere, it seems like. So, yeah, the Packers got to feel vindicated. Jordan Love comes out, wins this game versus a guy like Justin Fields, who was a much higher rated pick coming out of college, is kind of the young stud. Everyone's talking about this guy. Could he be an MVP running? And he looked bad. So Packers definitely got to feel vindicated. Aaron Rodgers goes to a different organization, no good offensive line. I know it was quick, but he was pressured 3 or 4 times in a row in those first 4 snaps. So it's not shocking that when he has to scramble, an injury happens. It's unfortunate, but the Packers definitely got to feel vindicated here. And I think they're a little upset because now they only get a 2nd-round draft pick instead of a 1st because Aaron Rodgers had to play 65% of the snaps for the Jets for them to get a 1st. So that one hurts a little bit. But long-term, I think they made the right move. Me and you both agreed with this, that I would be happy if I was a Packers fan to move on from Rodgers and just get rid of the drama.
Yeah, I agree. And it was a good move for the Jets. When we supported him going to the Jets, that's a perfect market for him in New York. They love him in New York. Yeah. And the Jets, they love Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he turned around his whole brand going on this move. So it's been a great move for them, too. It's been a win-win, for both teams.
Yeah.
Hey, man, have you ever followed a legend? I mean, I know T-Money's followed a legend with G-Man, but I'm saying – when you're in business or you're in sports, following a legend is so difficult, especially if he's on the same team. And Jordan Love having to be in the shadows there, a Hall of Famer with Aaron Rodgers there for so many years. And Jordan Love had to kind of be in the shadows. And now he's going to, become himself. It's going to be fun to see.
Yeah.
Packers are on the road. They're going to Atlanta this week, Sunday at 1:00. They're favored by 2 on the road at Atlanta. So we will see if they can keep it going, T-Money. Let's move on to the Bears. You talked a little bit about Justin Fields already a little here, T-Money. What do you think? Is he going to work out there in Chicago?
Oh, man, he is trending in the wrong direction right now, G-Man. I thought he would come out and put on a better show. It didn't look great. Let's just say that. It didn't look great versus the Packers there. Now, he threw all right. 65% completion, not bad. but he did have a pick. His QBR was 21. His passer rating was 78. Both just not good. So he just wasn't making the high value throws. Overall, Justin Fields is trending like he's going to be a bust. The guy's clearly a freak athlete he can run. He's in that tier with Lamar, Michael Vick, like just special athletes that can also play this position. But he's 5-20 as a starter. And at some point, you got to win football games. And it looks like he might end up being a bust. And at the end of this year, they could decide to move on from him because he might be, they might be one of the worst teams in the league if he continues to play like this. And with a top 5 pick and Drake May and Sanders from Colorado looking good, and some of these other quarterbacks coming out look like studs. Don't be surprised if next year Justin Fields is not on the Bears.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are saying that. I'm totally disagreeing with this whole sentiment. And it's not just because he's a Buckeye, man. I love Justin. I love Justy. But no, I think, you look at some of the metrics. Yes, completion percentage can look good. But if you look at some of the advanced metrics, some of the guys using now for looking at stats, one of them are the air yards per attempt. Air yards per attempt. He's 31st in the NFL. He's almost last in the NFL. Air yards per attempt are only 3 yards, T-Money. 3.3 yards, one of the worst in the NFL. He told the press after the game that their game plan was to throw it short. He was not supposed to throw downfield to DJ Moore. DJ Moore is already getting ticked off. DJ Moore is a problem. I told you that when they brought him over. DJ Moore is going to get an attitude if they don't throw him the ball. And the game plan was to throw it short. That's why his completion percentage might have been pretty good, but his air yards were very low. Yeah. And DJ's not happy about it. And Justin's not really happy about it either. I'm pointing to the guys that are running this organization. You just said Green Bay is well run. Well, this organization is just the opposite. I don't have confidence in this leadership. Matt Eberflus and GM Ryan Poles, those guys are 3-15 since Poles took over. Poles came in, he was, this guy's inexperienced. Just because he was on the Chiefs, they all go crazy about him. But he was the quarterback's coach, I believe. So he comes over, Eberflus, who's the DC, defensive guy. They bring in a new OC. I don't know if these guys got it, man. This new leadership team. And now they're going to throw Justy under the bus.
Hey, let me piggyback off that real quick because you make a lot of great points here, G. And you remember, as much as I'm anti-Buckeye, I was very high on Justin Fields coming out. I mean, I was a proponent saying this guy might be the best in the class. So I liked Justin Fields coming out. I totally agree with you here. I think he's trending towards a bust, mostly because of the coaching staff here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I agree with you, and it's unfortunate. And we have said this many, many times over and over again. You need an offensive head coach. Just look at the difference between the Tua and the Chargers and Justin Fields. One has a defensive head coach. They can't win games with a talented quarterback. One is not supposed to be as talented, and they're winning games a bunch of different ways with Tua and Mike McDaniels, right? Those are two opposites that are very similar drafts. You got Justin Fields and Jordan Love, right? You got Matt LaFleur scheming up great stuff, and then you got the Bears who have a defensive head coach who's not there every day helping Justin Fields. And I think that's the trend of the entire NFL. Bill Belichick days are outliers, right? Sean McDermott looks like he's struggling without Brian Dable. Like, you need offensive head coaches now. And so I think you're right. I think you're right that it is the coaching staff, but unfortunate that's the hand he was dealt, and he can't seem to overcome it right now.
Yeah, I agree. And you have been saying that the offensive-minded head coach is important, and that's why you didn't like New Orleans hire. So I know that's important. I like that too. That even the defense was not strong, though. Here you got a defensive head coach. You're bringing a new DC from Indianapolis, who, or he came from DC at Indianapolis, where they had a pretty good D, but their defense gave up 31 points after averaging 27 points per game last year, giving up. Their defense is not that good.
No. Yeah.
Even their defense.
Well, I know we spent a minute on this. Justin Fields, we both wish you the best of luck. We're sorry we got to deal with the Bears' crappy organization. We'll see.
Fight him, Justy. Hey man, here's the other thing on that management. I don't know if you remember T-Money back during the winter when they were talking about who they were going to get in the draft and all of that. Those guys in Chicago, the ownership team, were on ESPN. I don't know what, maybe it was NFL Network. They were so casual. Those guys don't seem to me like they're hungry, like to win games. They're like sitting back. I just don't see the attitude of let's go win this thing. Yeah. All right, go ahead, man. Go ahead, man.
Pick up your attitude, Bears. Come on. All right. Hey, let's move on here. I want to talk quickly about the Rams, man. Had a huge win this past week. Looked great. Shocked everyone. They were supposed to be one of the worst teams in the league. Is everyone sleeping on these Rams, G?
What the heck? They must be. I must be. I mean, I can't believe this. Can you? That they went and smacked the Seahawks like that? I predicted the Seahawks would make the playoffs. They got beat, the Seahawks, 30-13. I mean, this was in Seattle.
Yeah.
And the second half was not even close. I mean, this is amazing what the Rams did here. And they set the tone early. Their first drive, T-Money, the Rams, 16 plays, 75 yards, took 9:13 off the clock, the longest opening drive in 23 years for the Rams. They set the tone. They were 64% on third down conversions, 11 of 17. That's the best in the NFL in week one. Man, that offense really controlled things.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to a healthy Matthew Stafford, right? That guy still might be a top 10 quarterback in the league. He's used to fighting on crappy teams like he was in Detroit. So the guy can carry a shitty team. Like, it's not shocking. I was impressed with the defense. You know, other than Aaron Donald, they don't really have anybody, especially on the back end there. So for Seattle only score 13 points, I think that was impressive. But I just want to pump the brakes on everyone. I think that they're going to battle harder than we expected. And look, are they in the NFC? 8 and 9 could make the playoffs. So I would not be shocked to see them make the playoffs. I still expect that they won't make the playoffs. I think those division games, you know, you just saw the Bengals lose to the Browns. Seattle loses, and, you know, it seems like the Rams have Seattle's number, but the Niners have the Rams' number. It's always weird with division games. And the next 3 out of the next 4 games, the Rams play San Francisco, Cincinnati, and Philadelphia. I mean, this team could easily be 2-3 by week 5, and we're all kind of like, all right, you're a little better than we expected, but like, this is what we expected. So I just want to pump the brakes a little bit. They had a great week 1. Week 1 was weird across the NFL. So I'm trying not to overreact right now because it was a weird week. And I think the Rams look great. I'm happy for Matthew Stafford. The Puka kid looks pretty impressive, taking Cooper Kupp's spot. But it's still a shaky O-line. That's still a leaky defense that was projected to win 6.5 games this year. So if they win 8, I'm not going to be shocked. You know, I'm just setting realistic expectations that they could still make the playoffs, winning 8 games in the NFC. So good job, Rams. Excited for you. But there's no Super Bowl contender here. I don't think anyone's sleeping on them, to say the least.
Hey, great points, T-Money. I agree with your points, man. And, you know, just setting up the next topic, and this one here, looking at this, I think the big surprise here was Seattle, who I thought would get in the playoffs, and the Rams would not. And they took care of business against a great team, or at least we thought was a great team.
Yeah.
And you know, now we got the Rams. Now it will be a dog this week to San Fran by 7.5. 7.5 point favorites are the 49ers against the Rams. So you're right. Maybe come back to reality real quick. The other big surprise was, at least to me, was that Miami win. The Miami beating the Chargers. I had thought the Chargers would beat Miami for that last playoff spot. That was a big win for Miami to take out the Chargers. Tua looked unbelievable, T-Money. What do you think? Is he the leader now for the NFL MVP?
Do I get my flowers yet? That's my question. Okay. T-Money's been on the damn Dolphins all off season. All right. I have been on the Dolphins. I said they're going to make the AFC Championship game. I said Tua can stay healthy all year. I said Tyreek Hill's going to be the best receiver in the league. I've been all over this. All right. I said,
you and Tyreek both think that.
I love this team if Tua's healthy. Look, that was a great game. Justin Herbert needs help with a head coach, and that he's got to go. They need to fire him. He's supposed to be a DC. That's another. I don't mind their team, but the defense is impressive with pieces that they have, but they seem to always lose and can't hold a lead. It's not Justin Herbert's fault. But back to Tua. Man, guy plays great. He is on pace for 7,000 yards right now. Tyreek's on pace for like 1,000,000 yards right now. These guys are potentially going to shatter every record. My God. They look great. I'm impressed with them. I do think Tua can win the MVP. I mean, just by, like I said, I have this team winning the division as well. Again, I'm on this train, baby. It might crash when Tua twists an ankle, but I'm on this team. If they win 12 games and win the division, that he's going to win the MVP. He's going to win the MVP. He'll probably win comeback player of the year too. So yes, I don't doubt it at all. What's his MVP odds right now? He's second. So the bookmakers think it too. I should have.
He's 850. 850 to 100. Mahomes is 650 to 100.
Yeah, I mean, freaking on FanDuel, he's 600 or 6-1. So he's tied with Mahomes on FanDuel. So all I'm saying is it's not surprising to me. The only reason I think people were skeptical about him was because of his health. And if he can stay healthy, I said day one, this team is dangerous and that he could be a factor in the MVP. So this isn't shocking for T-Money. I've been in this corner, son. I've been here. All right.
Yeah, you've got Miami in the AFC Championship game. I give you credit for that, man. I hope you put that bet down. Miami in the AFC Championship game. That would have been a heck of a bet. So yeah, I agree with what you said. I don't know that he's going to beat Mahomes out for that MVP, man. I don't know about that. But can he stay healthy is the question. As I told you last week, he hasn't been in a full season since he was a sophomore in Alabama. So he's got, the chances of him making it through the season, nothing bad's going to happen. But he was the top MVP candidate last year at this time, even after this time. He was the top candidate, and he ran into those concussion issues. Otherwise, he was in the lead last year. Dolphins are going to New England. I can't believe this line. It's Sunday at 1. Dolphins favored by 2.5 at New England. Did you expect that line to be a little higher? I did.
Tua's never lost to Bill Belichick.
I know. I thought it'd be higher. 2.5. I mean, that looks like somebody knows something there, man. I expected that line to be 5. Hey, this game's going to be a test, though, for Tua and the offense. New England's got a tough D, but, man, even the over-under is surprising here. 46 points in it. So they're expecting the Patriots to score 20-some points here. I mean, wow, look at Mac Jones taking off, man. Let's move on, T-Money. Let's go to the big bets. We're going to give our players here some big bet picks for the week. What do you think you should do to win some cash here? We're on it for you, so you don't have to be. Hey, man, let's go to it. I'm pulling up here. T-Money, let's shift gears. We're going to do our lock pick of the week this week, which is our number 1 pick of the week. I've actually got a couple ideas for you there this week. And then we got the dog lock, the best underdog play, but someone who may win the game outright. That's what we got coming for you. Last week we had 6 picks. We hit 4, 67% against the spread here at Father, Son, and Holy Sport, man. Let's go. All right, let's go, T-Money. Who you got for your lock pick of the week?
All right, lock pick of the week. I'm going Chargers -3 versus Titans. Chargers are going to be pissed off that they lost that game. Titans only scored 16 points versus Saints last week. Chargers are going to put up another 30 burger, and it's probably going to be 31-21. And I just don't think that the Titans can keep up with them offensively. So Chargers -3 versus the Titans there, G.
Okay, that's a Sunday 1 o'clock game. I can confirm the 3-point is what I'm showing too. Okay, good pick there. You're riding those Chargers too, man. You love those guys.
I love them both.
I'm going to Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida, where KC comes into town. Kansas City against Jacksonville. I'm looking at the favorite here, Kansas City, as the pick here. Jacksonville's previous 20 home games, 8-12 against the spread. Trevor Lawrence has a losing record against the spread for his career. I know he's getting better now, but Mahomes is 13-3 following a loss. And in those games, he threw for 42 touchdowns compared to 15 interceptions. Mahomes is going to be ticked in this game, man. And he's going to come out slinging the ball. And if Travis Kelce plays, have you heard if Travis is playing yet?
Haven't heard yet, but I think he's trending towards playing. They need him so badly.
If he plays, this is a lock. This is a lock. Remember the championship game? This is a rematch of not the championship game, but the rematch of the playoffs.
Yeah.
When Kansas City beat Jacksonville. This is a rematch of that. Kelce had 98 yards and 2 touchdowns when they faced last year in the playoffs, and he's going to go off again if they face off. So give me KC and Kelce -3 on Sunday versus the Jags for my lock pick of the week. But a little caveat, T-Money, before you go. If Kelce does not play, I'm going to give you another pick. If Kelce does not play, I'm going to Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. And this guy behind me, Jordan Love, Green Bay -1. Come on, man. Matt LaFleur has a winning ATS record for his career against the spread. And as a road team, 17-13 against the spread, Matt LaFleur. Meanwhile, Arthur Smith for Atlanta, when he's a home underdog, -4-6 against the spread. Since the 2021, the Packers are 9-5 against top 10 run offenses. So this is the second best in the NFL in this kind of situation. Give me the guy behind me in the Packers on the road, -1. I noticed maybe it went up to -2 this morning versus the Falcons for my second lock pick of the week.
All right. I like it. I'll go to dog lock pick of the week here. Can't believe I'm riding these guys. I know we were both high on them last week and they got killed, but the Steelers +2.5 versus the Browns. All right. They're at home. It's in the division. Watson didn't look great last week. The Steelers played maybe the best defense and the best team in the league last week. And the Steelers have a much better defense than the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Steelers win this one at home. +2.5. I'll take them versus the Browns.
Okay, I'm showing two. Maybe it went down. But we'll give you the 2.5. You might have it in one of your sports books. I'm looking right now, might be down to 2 right now, at least on some of the sites. So, hey, man, you might be moving in the right direction there, getting it early. Sounds good, T-Money. Good pick there. I like that. Hey, I'm going to go to my dog lock pick of the week, Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, where the Saints play the Panthers. The Saints favored by 3 against Carolina. Let me give you some of the trends. I like going some of the trends. I know some bettors don't follow just the trends, but I like looking at the trends. I don't just blindly pick on the trends, but I like to use that. And the combination of Derek Carr and Allen didn't exactly look great last week, did they, T-Money? They only scored 16 points. They won 16-15, and they really have not been good against the spread for their career. They're negative against the spread in their career. Meanwhile, Carolina, previous 10 games when they're an underdog, they're 7-3 against the spreads, and they have beaten the Saints. The last 10 times they played the Saints, 7-3 against the spread. This is going to be a low-scoring game, probably under 40 points. Give me the points. Carolina +3 at home. Monday Night Football, my dog lock pick of the week.
All right. I like it, G. I like it. And let's go to the band favorite here. G-Man's player prop of the week. What we got?
Hey, last week we gave you two winners. ETN over 56 rush yards. He got 77. We told you Jared Goff under 0.5 interceptions. He had no interceptions when they upset the Chiefs Thursday night. Two winners here in our player props. I got three for you this week on the player props, starting off with the Vikings. TJ Hawkinson over 4.5 receptions. He's had at least 7 receptions in 4 of the last 5 games. TJ Hawkinson over 4.5 receptions. How about Calvin Ridley? More than 67 receiving yards. This is going to be a shootout in this game with Calvin and Jacksonville. So I'm going with Ridley here to get more than 67. That seems like a lock. And Mahomes' number is not out yet, but I like over on the passing yards. Last week he was 283, over 283 passing yards. We'll see what this week's number is for Mahomes, but look for the over on Mahomes. I told you he's going to light it up. And so let's go Mahomes over passing yards.
All right.
Okay, so there's some bets there for y'all. You guys pick and choose what you like, but you know that we're hot at Father, Son, and Holy Sports. So we hope you go with us. Let's move on to fantasy. How about you fantasy managers? Are you winning your league? Are you in the league, man? Are you in the hunt? Come on, man. Let's talk fantasy. Keep in mind we're recording our shows on Wednesday, so a lot can change by Sunday. But let's kick it off with our hot and cold game. We're giving you tips for players you should be starting or sitting. I'm going to start off with a hot quarterback of the week. Last week we gave you Jared Goff stacked with Amon St. Brown, and the two of them did excellent. So that was a great combination, and a DFS also. At quarterback this week, I'm going with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor threw for 241 and 2 touchdowns last week as they beat the Colts. He also rushed the ball for 21. Jacksonville has put their money behind this team. He's got a great core, man. Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, also ETN in the passing game. He's got weapons out there. Yeah. He's going to continue the momentum here in this AFC playoff rematch against Mahomes. And if you're playing DFS, Trevor's only going for 6,700. Mahomes is 8,300. So I just think the value is here when you look at value here in DFS plays. Trevor Lawrence, my upside quarterback hot pick of the week.
All right. I like it. My cold pick of the week here is going to be Deshaun Watson. All right. Projected for 17. People think he's a regular starter at this point. I'm going to go with no. All right. They're playing the Steelers. Last week, they played the Niners, and he would have only had 14 points if it wasn't for a rushing touchdown. Only threw for 154 yards. He did not play well. The Steelers have a very good defense as well, and way better than Cincinnati's. And so I expect them to be all over him. That his sacks may negate any sort of rushing yards he gets, and they may keep him in the pocket, force him to throw. I like Deshaun Watson as the cold QB this week.
Okay, I could see that. Let's go to running backs. My hot running back pick of the week. I'm going to that Cincinnati Ravens game in Cincinnati. Last week, the Bengals defense surrendered 206 rushing yards. I like Gus Edwards here at running back. I think he's the primary back now. In week 2, he'll be the primary guy. If Edwards gets 75 yards rushing and a touchdown, he'll be one of the top running back performers in week 2. So don't let the name fool you. All he needs is 75 and a touchdown in a game that's supposed to get 45 points. I mean, I think this is a good play here. I don't think Gus is a long-term play, not a dynasty play, but for week 2 and the DFS value, he's only $5,300 on DraftKings. I think it's a great play here. Gus Edwards, start my upside running back hot pick of the week.
All right. A high-scoring game. I like it. My cold running back of the week is going to be Najee Harris. All right. I am officially done. I am an owner of this man, and he's projected for 13 versus Cleveland. I'm done with him as an owner. Prove it to me.
I don't blame you.
I'm benching your ass until you prove it to me. Jalen Warren looks like the real deal. He's stealing snaps. He's stealing targets. So until this guy scores over 12 points 2 weeks in a row, I don't think I'm going to start it. So he's on my bench. I'd rather start my guy I'm starting, Nico Collins, over this guy. Congratulations, Najee. You're trash now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't blame you, man. If a guy's not performing, you got to put him on the bench. I like that. Hey, let's go to wide receivers, hot and cold. I'll start with the hot. Last week we gave you Chris Godwin. He came through in DFS at wide receiver. This week I'm going with Chris Godwin again. Okay, I was trying to check myself. Like, am I picking him again? Yes, I am. So Godwin, I have down here for the pick of the week, 5,900 on DraftKings. Start my upside wide receiver hot pick of the week, Chris Godwin.
All right. Godwin again. He was close last week to his projection. We'll see how he does this week. My cold wide receiver of the week is Jacoby Myers. All right. A lot of people are going to look to start this guy after a 24-point game last week. Don't fall for this hype train. Jimmy G is his quarterback, so let's pump the brakes to begin with. All right. This isn't going to last long. This is Devontae Adams' team. He's projected at 12.1, so clearly they don't think that highly of him. He doesn't get to he only would have hit that 12 last week if he hadn't had those touchdowns. All right. They played a mediocre team. Now they're playing the Bills. This should be more of Devontae's game and a good Bills defense. I'm not falling for this Jacoby Myers hype train. I would not be starting him. He's my cold wide receiver of the week.
Ooh, big good team money. Nice pick. And you're on this hot and cold game. Your cold picks are on the mark, man. Hey, I want to ask you another one. How about your waiver wire hot pickup team money? You got a top waiver wire pickup you can share with everybody?
Yep. Let me just give some background here. I know everyone likes Puka. I think Puka is the guy you need to go to if you need an instant help. All right. If you're like, oh man, my team's looking bad, or I got Alvin Kamara, I'm waiting on him, or you got Cooper Kupp, you need instant help. Puka's your guy. Long term, I'm not sure. Kyron Williams will be my long-term pickup. If you can stash him and keep him, at the end of the year, he might be a big help. But a guy I really like, all right, the guy that I'm looking at is Kendrick Bourne for the New England Patriots, all right? I like him a lot. He got a lot of targets. He's might be the best guy at receiver on this receiving core, all right? 11 targets is pretty impressive. And 2 touchdowns. I mean, I just think there was definitely – in this offense, he's only going to get better. It's not Juju. Juju's never been the number one guy. And just the style that they might play in this offense with the new offensive coordinator, I like this trend of Kendrick Bourne being the guy in this offense, not Juju. And I would prefer him. I'm a guy that likes stability. I'll take 12 points a week every damn week over someone that's 15, 10, 17, 8, I'll take 12 every week. And I think this guy can be a staple of your flex position for the rest of the year.
Yeah, picked up a lot of points this past week because they were coming from behind and there was a lot of passes throwing to catch up. So we'll see if he can keep that going this week. But solid floor there. I agree with you on Kendrick Bourne. He's kind of emerging as the lead guy there. Yeah. And it's surprisingly that score implies they're going to score 21 points against the Dolphins, which will be surprising. So someone's got to get them. Hey, yeah. I want to ask you another question. How about take or mistake your team money? Going to throw one take or mistake player at you, see if it's whether we should take the bait or if last week was a mistake. And I want to throw 2 guys at you, the wide receiver duo at the Rams. You mentioned Puka and Tutu Atwell. Tutu Atwell elevated to the starting lineup following Cooper Kupp's hamstring. Cooper on IR. He was the 2021 second-round pick. He teamed up with rookie Puka Nacua to tie for the team lead in receiving yards this past week. Puka had 22 fantasy points. Tutu had 18. Can fantasy managers count on these 2 emerging receivers to rise again as Matthew Stafford's favorite target against the 49ers? Team money is Puka or Tutu. A take this week or as a must start? Or would a start for either of them be a mistake?
I would tend to lean not towards Tutu just because he's the second guy and he's still unproven. Puka got so many targets, you think you can trust his floor at least as a flex. But be careful, man. They are playing the 49ers. They could score 3 points. So I'm just saying, like, do you think George Pickens is better than than him, right? George
Yeah.
Pickens is better than I would consider better than Puka, right? And last week he had 8 points versus the Niners defense.
Yeah.
So just be careful versus defense. But I think you could start Puka in your flex just because the amount of targets he garnered.
All right, sounds good, T Money. Hey, and to wrap things up here, we're going to go through our daily fantasy sports DFS. As you all know, lineup for this week. The DFS games are fun to play. Different style of fantasy for those of you who have not tried it. Last week, we gave you some great winners. We told you to stack Goff and Amon St. Brown. They did great. Tony Pollard went crazy. We thought he'd be a top running back, and the Jags DST did excellent. And so those were some picks last week. Let's go to this week's lineup. I got it set up already on DraftKings. I'm going Trevor Lawrence at the quarterback, as I already talked about him, and Calvin Ridley stacked with him. Zay Jones is also a decent buy if you can't fit Calvin Ridley in there. But I was able to fit Calvin Ridley on my team with Trevor Lawrence stacked up. I'm also going with ETN. I think that Jacksonville game is going to have some points. So those three guys. I've also had a Gus Edwards at the running back. I told you about him. But look at my wide receiver lineup. I was able to fit in there because I saved some money on some different players. I got Ridley, Amon St. Brown, and Michael Pittman all on my team. And Sam Laporta at tight end, only $3,900 for Sam Laporta at tight end. And my flex, you'll love it, River Craycraft from Miami. He had a touchdown last week. I got River for $3,100. And then finish it up with the Ravens defense against Cincinnati. I'm not sure about the Bengals. We'll see. But I'm going with the Ravens D because it was only $2,800 and I needed to fit something in there. There's my DFS lineup for this week.
All right. Nice, G.
All right. Hey, T Money, great show. Nice job. That's it for the show. Hope you got some fun and some tips from us all. Week 2 of the NFL coming up. Thank you to our sponsor, Blue Tees Golf. Go out to blueteesgolf.com, enter FSHS, get 10% off your order. Hey, get one of those rangefinders, man. I got to get one for this season. Hey, if you're interested in being a sponsor or guest on our show, reach out to us. On behalf of Team Money, I'm G-Man. Enjoy week 2 of the NFL. See y'all next week.
All right. Peace.